Morning, everybody, and thanks, Steve and our ops guys again. So I'm going to talk about a Grohe product, and Grohe, as most of you know, is part of Lixivier Africa. So Cobra, Grohe, and VAR, we all operate under Lixivier Africa. And one of the things that Brendan or Steve, I can't remember which, had said to me, is to talk about a product which maybe creates opportunities for plumbers to sell up or to offer a different kind of a service. So if you kind of remember when solar became the big thing, or when there was a water crisis in Cape Town. So the product I'm talking about most certainly is an expensive product, and it's not going to replace every pillar tap or sink mixer. But you know, it's like an expensive car. If somebody wants one, they want one. So let's get going. It's the main thing that I'm going to focus on is about the filtered water which you can get out of it. But let's show you the product itself. So it's that's essentially what you're going to see. So it looks like an everyday single lever pillar type sink mixer. But the difference is it is indeed a normal hot and cold sink mixer, plumbed up normally for hot and cold water, and you could use it exactly as that. But it also gives you filtered, chilled, sparkling, all kinds of fancy water from the other control. The benefits of that obviously is that you're not buying bottled water. You know, you're not lugging things around, cluttering your fridge up with bottles of cold, sparkling and still water, and it obviously looks hell of a good, you know, in a night time. All right, so let's go to the main thing that we're going to talk about. So you'd obviously need cupboard space underneath the area where you're going to install it, and it's going to be connected to a normal mains outlet. What you've got is you've got this chiller unit, and inside that chiller unit it contains the filter and the CO2 bottle. Both of those obviously are replaceable components, and we would keep stock of them, or we'd be able to refill gas bottles from our Cobra Assist offices. This would then get plugged into your wall outlet, to your power, and coupled to mains water supply in. The mixer itself has got its own hot and cold inlets, just like you would plumb in a normal sink mixer. And then the outlet, it's got a separate little inlet for the processed water which comes through the unit. Or when you buy it, so this is what, apologize, this is German translation, and it's obviously fully made in Germany, so it's, you know, it's completely right out of Grohe's factory. We don't even try and assemble or make it here, but it comes complete with absolutely everything you need to install it. All right, the water which is filtered, there are two passageways in that spout. So if I just go back here, visually it looks like a single spout, but there are two passageways within that spout. So your normal hot and cold water is going to come through a normal outlet with an aerator and look like completely normal hot and cold water. But through the core of that, through the middle, is a separate tube, and that is connected then to your filtered and purified water. Okay, so let's get to the operation on the filtered water. I think today's talk is going to be fairly quick, so we probably have lots of time for questions. So in the normal position, it's going to look like that, and if you were using your hot and cold water, you just completely ignore this control on the left hand side. Okay, which nothing lights up, and it would just be in standby mode. Then if you pressed the little, you just touch on the little chilled water button, it will dispense water which is purified and chilled. So it's like fridge temperature ice cold water that's gone through a filter, and that would come out the inner core of that little spout. Okay, and the LED would light up blue, as you can see it in the picture there. Then if you pressed the sparkling water, the one with the little bubbles in it, you would get sparkling water. Okay, just like a bottle of sparkling water, that water is going to come into your glass as sparkling water, and the LED would light up green. And if you press the two together, it's a half sparkling and half still. So it's not quite as effervescent. And in all cases, the water is chilled. And in all cases, when you take your finger off, then the water stops. So there's no, you don't have to turn anything. It's all kind of electronic. Okay, then we go to the filter. We talk a little bit about the filter. So it's got various stages, but the two main things that there is an activated carbon filter and an ion exchanger resin. So it obviously goes through, strainers, coarse and fine strainers, just to take out the absolutely raw, rough sediments. But what happens with, let's talk about the ion exchanger first. So when you have hard water, and hard water we know is the higher the magnesium and calcium content in water, the harder it's deemed to be. So water with a pH greater than 8.5 would be considered to be hard water. And what the ion exchanger does is it'll attract the calcium and the magnesium ions, and it gives off sodium ions in exchange. So it would effectively take out a bunch of the magnesium and the calcium. Remember that we want some in, otherwise the water tastes like distilled water. And I'll show you later, there's a setting. And if you know the pH of the water, or if you know that it's particularly hard, you'd know which setting to choose. Then you have the activated carbon resin. And effectively what that does is it will absorb other suspended minerals and elements in the water. So things like if there are traces of pesticides or metals, some of the stuff that you would get out of municipal water that's got a lot of chemicals and so on. The water which goes into the filter, it's got to be potable water. So you can't go and put it to a muddy dam on the farm and think it's going to sort it out. So this is a sophisticated product, and what it's doing is it's trying to get that water to a state like purified drinking water. Well, that's not trying to get it to, that is what it does. Okay, they talk about 600 liters. That's roughly on a typical municipal pH. That's about how much water it's going to process before you need to start looking at replacing the filter. What else did I need to say there? I think that's pretty much covered it. So you could see that the inlet water comes in through the activated carbon, and then at the end at the ion exchanger, and then what comes out would be your purified chilled water. Okay, you've got a setting on the head of this filter, so you could bypass the carbon and go straight through the ion exchanger, and that would be on a setting of 0. Okay, and then the settings 1 to 3 would be depending on the hardness of the water, how much of it's going to go past the activated carbon resin. And for the heaviest, most hard water, you'd put it on a setting of 1. Okay, but the water it will go through all the sieves and other strainers and always pass the ion exchanger. So the water will always be filtered and clean. Okay, and I think really there's not a lot more to say about the product. The idea of it is that people would, if you've got a really nice house, perhaps you've got an indoor braai area or a fancy kitchen, or in an entertainment, it's a good looking product. It's obviously something that's going to go into affluent homes. It's, as I said in the beginning there, it's not a cheap, change everything mixer for one of these. But I think if people know about it, so if you as a plumber are doing a fancy house or something, it's something that you could, certain people are definitely going to want it. It's a Grohe product, so it's exceptionally well made in Germany, and it's backed and supported by our Cobra Assist backup and support team. So whether it's with installation advice, getting the refills or the filters afterwards, we are most certainly there to support it. And we do have stock of it, and we do have stock of the spares. And yeah, so guys, that's a short one today. So just to once again to say thanks very much to all the guys who listened in. Thank you, Ruben, for setting up, and Steve, Brendan, thanks always for the opportunity to talk to the guys.